There are those working to pass on traditional Ainu culture to the future. The dugout canoe was once a vital tool supporting the lives of Ainu people. The Ainu are the indigenous people of Hokkaido and its surrounding areas. The dugout canoe was indispensable in daily life for crossing rivers, transporting people and goods. As the number of people capable of building these canoes diminishes each year, one man is dedicated to its revitalization. In his quest to create a new dugout canoe, he listens to stories from those who used them in the past.
I went all the way out to sea in a canoe when I was a child.
When you were a child?
The Ainu people living today work to craft new dugout canoes. In this program, we follow their journey spanning over half a year until its completion. Shiraoi town is located in the northern prefecture of Hokkaido. Over 70% of its land is covered by forests, surrounding it in nature, including the sea and rivers. It is home to the Upopoi National Ainu Museum and Park. It serves as a hub for the revitalization and practice of Ainu culture. At Upopoi, there are traditional Ainu houses called chise. A traditional ritual to pray for the safety of the dugout canoe was held. Chipsanke is the name of the ceremony to launch the boat. The Ainu believe that spirits inhabit all things and revere them as kamui. First, participants inside the chise offer prayers to the fire kamui. The ritual proceeds in accordance with tradition. They offer ceremonial tools called inau for the dugout canoes. And pray for their safety. The canoes were so important to daily life that these sacred ceremonies arose around them. A new dugout canoe is being crafted at Upopoi. Yamamichi Youmaru leads the project. He has crafted 2 of these dugout canoes so far. This is the Upopoi workshop. The facility demonstrates and exhibits Ainu crafts, such as wood carving and embroidery. Yamamichi serves as the leader in the workshop, actively engaged in passing on the heritage of Ainu crafts. This tray is known in Ainu as ita. They craft various other items such as the small blades, makiri.
I always work while thinking about how to improve with each new piece. If it goes well, it brings a sense of achievement and joy. Even now, I always think about how to carve carefully and skillfully.
Yamamichi's job is not just craft work. He's also the instructor of the popular Upopoi program, the Dugout Canoe Demonstration and Talk. Upopoi's Lake Poroto hosts demonstrations on their use and navigation techniques.
The Ainu people used canoes like these for salmon and trout fishing, transporting goods as well as transporting people. In the past, there were no roads and there were no bridges to cross rivers to the other side. So they used boats to move across the water. This dugout canoe, called Chip, played a significant role during those times.
Between demonstrations, Yamamichi begins the challenge of crafting a new dugout canoe. The wood comes from an approximately 230-year-old Castor aralia tree. First, he has to decide how big to make the canoe.
This split is a problem. I'm not sure how to get around it.
It's a good challenge. It's important to think for yourself and find solutions.
It's tricky. I'll have to cut it and see.
If the initial assessment is inaccurate, the valuable wood may go to waste.
あれは意外となかったんで、消そうっすけど。
7.8 meters long. I think we can get it to about 55 centimeters wide.
They proceed to chop out the upper surface of the canoe.
これが蝶菜って言って、こういった道具を使ってこの中をね、どんどん削っていく。
Yamamichi deliberately chops the wood to leave larger blocks.
Larger blocks carved out can be useful elsewhere. We make use of everything we can.
Not wasting any of the blessings from nature. An important tenet of the Ainu philosophy. Yamamichi was born in Biratori town's Nibutani. The traditional culture of the Ainu is well preserved here, where handicrafts thrive.
Ceremonies were conducted on a regular basis. When inao were needed, the adults would carve them. We also participated, finding and crafting materials.
Yamamichi had a mentor, the late Kaizawa Fukuji. Yamamichi met him when he was 19.
I went to learn wood carving. In the first week, I was asked to draw pictures of apples, bananas, and oranges. He didn't teach me how to draw at all. He just said, try drawing what you see. I couldn't draw anything well.
What Kaizawa was imparting lies in the essence of Ainu craftsmanship.
Something may look like a circle, but it's not a perfect circle. There are slight irregularities, and the curves aren't uniform. The most important thing is to be able to turn what you see into something tangible within yourself, he said. If you can do that, you can imitate and create various patterns or shapes by looking at various previous works.
The number of dugout canoe makers is decreasing year by year, leaving very few who can impart the skills. With little remaining written instructions, Yamamichi must study the dugout canoes crafted by his predecessors to unravel how they were made. This is the National Ainu Museum at Upopoi. Ancient canoes that were discovered are stored here.
This washed ashore on the Yūfutsu coast in Tomakomai City in 2021. It has a distinctive feature of having holes here. Boards were attached to the sides to raise the canoe higher in the water, and we believe this also increased resistance to waves.
The canoe was constructed with additional boards and called itaomachip. The boards attached to the sides are believed to deflect waves. They were thought to have been used primarily for fishing and trade at sea.
It's interesting to see the carving marks, meaning they used a curved blade. These marks especially.
They deduce the tools and blades used and how from the carving marks.
Even without books or written records, these canoes exist. I think our ancestors left them behind as a form of communication. There is a lot that can be gleaned from these objects.
Problems also occur during the crafting process.
The crack from here is spreading, and it's started to split.
A crack in the wood is expanding due to heat and dryness. The crack is in a crucial section that will serve as the prow and cannot be allowed to worsen any further. They hurry to cut off the unnecessary section.
I'm thinking of trying to prevent the wood from drying by wetting and wrapping it with a mat. This same issue was mentioned in the literature of the crafting process, so I want to try it out in practice.
An itaomachip is displayed at Upopoi. It was made by Nomoto Masahiro. Born in Shiraoi town, he has been engaged in the preservation activities of Ainu culture since about 1980. He's one of the few remaining people who can make one.
Cultural transmission has become a challenge in an era where traditional instructors are not as readily available. In my opinion, creating one's own style is an essential aspect of future Ainu cultural preservation activities.
Yamamichi was admiring Nomoto's work.
There's a crack, but he used a chigiri, a crack stopper, to hammer it down.
Measures have been taken to stop the cracks.
I want to use wooden plugs and hammer in a chigiri to prevent further cracking.
Nomoto has entrusted Yamamichi with the entire process of crafting the dugout canoe.
I don't like it when people interfere while making things. I want Yamamichi to create freely. He can think about each problem as he confronts it. The more connected he feels towards the canoe leads to a deeper understanding of Ainu culture.
After finishing chopping out the surface, they proceed with shaving the bottom and sides of the boat. As part of the current project, Yamamichi carved a 1/10 scale model. Comparing the model with the actual wood, he gauges the thickness of the boat's bottom. He drives in senpi, meaning wedge in Ainu, and continues carving the boat's hull. Although modern tools could make the work more efficient, using the same ancient tools helps to connect with the life and culture of the Ainu people of the past, leading to a deeper understanding. The final touches are being made to the hull. The shavings show that it's being adjusted by mere millimeters. Yamamichi aimed to make the dugout canoe as light as possible for this project. It's lightweight and easier to move for adjustments. Work on the canoe's surface continues.
Since this part is the deepest, I'll use it as a reference point while shaping the form. Still, I need to be careful not to shave off too much and make it too thin.
If he shaves too much seeking lightness, its durability will decrease. He continues to make fine adjustments with the overall balance in mind. Yakumo Town, Hokkaido. About 70 years ago, the sight of dugout canoes maneuvering the river for fishing and transportation were common. However, lifestyles changed with the times, and the canoes gradually disappeared. Yamamichi is here in search of someone who used to use dugout canoes.
In my childhood, there were 5 or 6 canoes in Yakumo Town. Dugout canoes were absolutely essential for daily life.
This is Shiiku Takeo. As an elementary school student, he would use dugout canoes to transport gathered firewood and for fishing.
As a child, I stood at the prow and used a spear to catch fish. There were trout and sea bass in the river back then.
You caught them from the prow?
With a 3-pronged spear.
You stand here and spear them, right? Where is the navigator?
I do it myself.
By yourself? Navigating by yourself from the prow? Wow.
Today, very few people have first-hand experience with traditional dugout canoes. This is the first time Yamamichi has spoken with someone who actually used one in their daily life. Watching footage recorded about 100 years ago brought back further memories of Shiiku's childhood.
立ってますね。
立ってますね。
センター。
そうだ。ね。
立ってますね。
やっぱり立つんだ。
反りがあっても立つんですね。
立つんだ。これがかっこいいんさ。
The faster the river flows, the higher the waves. They could navigate the waves well in these canoes.
Valuable insights for crafting the dugout canoe were also gained.
The corners of the boat bottom keep it stable.
I see. A dugout canoe I made before had the bottom shaped very round. It made it rock quite a bit. For the next one, I'm thinking of leaving the corners on the boat bottom.
Keeping the corners is a good idea.
I don't think anyone else knows about that anymore.
Hakodate City is known for having one of the 3 best night views in Japan. These boats on display are dugout canoes used on the Yurapu River. There is also one that was used by Shiiku Toshizo, the grandfather of Shiiku Takeo.
If you look here, they've stuffed hemp rope in a crack to fix it. I don't think they made such high-quality materials lightly and used them sparingly. They took good care of them.
According to Shiiku, dugout canoes were so light that a child could lift it onto the riverbank by themselves.
3.5 centimeters. 3 centimeters. The thinnest part where they use tin is 1 centimeter. This sets the standard for how thin it can be.
Yamamichi is heading to Furano City. More canoes are to be crafted at Upopoi in the coming years. He is here to select the wood that will be used. This forest is maintained by the University of Tokyo. There are not many giant trees in Hokkaido suitable for making dugout canoes. Upopoi purchases the wood needed from this forest. On this day, they inspected the Castor Aralia, Katsura, and Manchurian ash trees. The straight and tall Manchurian ash looks like it would make excellent material.
This one has a beautiful upright posture. There shouldn't be any problems with it at all.
The crafting of the traditional dugout canoe passed down at Upopoi. Yamamichi expanded upon that image. The crafting of the dugout canoe has entered a crucial phase. Yamamichi is making the boat as thin and light as possible.
If I can shave off a few millimeters during the finishing touches, it should be just right.
He floats the canoe on the lake to check the balance.
It's already floating perfectly. Ah, okay. It feels light.
It used to require 3 to 4 people to carry one canoe, but it has been successfully lightened to the point that 2 people can move it.
There's a sense of relief for now. I wonder if I can finish it as is. I want to try it on the river. There are many challenges in making it, but I'd like to ride it on actual rivers outside of Lake Poroto, and if possible, try fishing for salmon.
The final adjustments towards completion continue for several more days. The day of completion is near. The final step is opening a hole for a rope.
It's finished.
The new single-passenger canoe is complete.
I think that it's incredibly important to revive lost techniques like this. It's something that I really want to contribute to. If it becomes a way for people to learn and enjoy Ainu culture, that would be amazing.
Another day begins for the inheritors of the Ainu legacy. Yamamichi and the Upopoi staff continue their efforts to pass on their heritage.